Good afternoon, everyone. Do you think there'll be an energetic change in our solar system as we rise above the ecliptic, that center line dividing the north and south of our galaxy? Because everywhere you look, it seems to be end of the world headlines. Pandemic will cause famine of biblical proportions. A hunger pandemic. Oh wait, that wasn't good enough. Multiple famines, 2 for the price of 1, biblical proportions. We got the locusts nibbling across India all the way into the Middle East and Africa. Yemen, 3.5 years worth of rain in a day. And after we saw the 2 dam breaks in Michigan, now 1 in Kazakhstan. What are the possibilities of so many dams breaking? 5-pound hailstones smashing through roofs. This was expected. Maunder minimum, they had 10 to 20-pound hailstones. We're going to look at something 4 times larger than this. We got droughts, pestilence. Add in a broken jet stream for good measure. Global debt, 1999 to 2018. Up 3x. That's nothing. It's already up another doubling from that. U.S. commercial bank loan delinquency. And we could call this the liquidity supernova. You could see why global governments are driving all economies into the ground. Why prepare for tomorrow when the reset's here naturally? Seems like the global populace is the only one left who doesn't know. With the majority of the world's workforce now working from home, cyber spying and cybercrime is at an all-time high. And a useful tool you can use to protect yourself is a virtual private network, a VPN, to scramble your computer's identity and keep what you're surfing on the web completely private from prying eyes. Because the information you're searching for your preps should be nobody else's business. You can head over to virtualshield.com, and in the download tab, I'm going to choose Firefox. And click Install Now to add the Virtual Shield add-on. It's just that easy. And get started with your free 30-day trial. Install it, click Connect. You'll see the shield turn from red to green. And you'll see how from my initial service provider, I was able to even change my IP. Virtual Shield Network protected. And during the month of May, Virtual Shield wants to offer 50% off all VPN plans because more of us than ever are working from our homes. The link's in the description box below. And a few years ago, it was popular talk about the ecliptic above the ecliptic below the ecliptic. Electromagnetic changes as we transit above and below, as the diagram would show here. We are at that pivot point, or have just transited into the northern hemisphere of our galaxy. Let's take a look at our galactic spiral arm here. Yellow dot is where we are, the sun. This is a morphing, moving, massive stars all interconnected through electromagnetism and frequency, Birkeland currents. And as we transition through that electromagnetic soup, of course there's going to be effects on our planet. Some call it the galactic cross. There's other names for it throughout history, but it seems that maybe there is some validity to it. It could be more explained through science than mythology, or maybe the mythology is explaining the science because they've been through these cycles 4 times before, and we're coming into the 5th time. So if you're a government around the world, you would be massively printing to push dollars out to get goods to get ready for these changes. Build an enormous amount of infrastructure, underground, above ground, whatever it would take. Because the amount of global debt from 1999 to 2018 was astoundingly up 3x. You know, for this level to finally reach where it did and this runaway, and then from 2018 to now is absolutely unbelievably, well, you're seeing it manifest full speed ahead right in front of your eyes here. Now, the repercussions are something like this. U.S. commercial bank loan delinquency rate correlated with the unemployment rate, both skyrocketing. So how many underwater mortgages are going to be put on the bank books in this time? How much more bailout money are they going to need? Oh, let me see. February 2020, what is that, at 4 trillion? And then May, 6.8 trillion. So in 3 months, they added 3 trillion. So if we just go out for another 12 months, wow, we're going to get to some really high numbers. I hope I can count that high. Because remember, just even back in 2019, everybody was screaming, oh, the national debt's going to go over 19 trillion. We're already at 25 and just looking nowhere back. I bet it's 50 before the end of this debacle and everything hyperinflates. Maybe it could be 45. So how many more months will that take? And then should there be an exponential curve going out when there has to be massively more money printing, especially when the Fed and the Treasury need to buy everything back that's in default? This is where we get into this unbelievable runaway spending. And the U.S. government becomes our largest landholder, equities, and everything for sale, basically, across the United States and parts of the world. We could call this the liquidity supernova. And couple that with moving into and above the ecliptic of our galaxy. It makes sense why there's so many biblical headlines, end of the world kind of stuff all out there. When you look around the mainstream media news publications, Guardian here, famine of biblical proportions, are talking about breakdowns of supply chains based on labor shortages because people aren't going to work, they're afraid or they're sick. World Food Program saying, hey, we need help. And then if you put any type of headline in a search engine, you're going to get barraged with world on brink of hunger, world could face multiple famines. No, wait, it was just one. See, and then everything needs to get more grandiose and larger, bigger the distraction, more Hollywood-esque to keep you distracted from what's happening right now. These galactic changes, our sun changing, our star's a sun. So we have the locust maps that are showing us here the outbreaks, the swarms, the plagues, whatever it would be. Is it this desert locust or the other previous locust? Remember, it's 2 for 1. There could be 2 multiples of these types of biblical proportions. We got the food shortages inbound, obvious. The mega droughts everywhere, obvious. This massive shift in cold to hot, hot to cold. Plants don't like this, especially after they're above ground and have been growing for weeks, if not a month. Brutal freeze. Plants go bye-bye. This is in Turkey, really far south. So what do you think places like Greece, Croatia, Italy, Spain happens when they get frozen out this late in the season? Going to toss in a vertical jet stream for good measure here, just because it's broken, shows the atmosphere is shifted. Cold inbound into the Middle East, more rain. Imagine that. Weather shift there, that's on a 4,000-year cycle, by the way. West African monsoon is what you want to look at to understand that whole shift going on there. Used to have catfish in the Algerian desert. But then if it is going to shift on a 4,000-year rain cycle, there'd be massive, massive floods happening all across the area. Do we see this? Yeah, for sure. Let's pick out some of the bigger ones, though. These are the super outliers. 3.5 years worth of rain in a day in Yemen. This is off the watchers. I thought that was quite astounding. 3 weeks later, severe flooding yet again in one of the driest places on the planet. And the top headline there, the dam failures in Michigan, not 1 but 2, again, multiples. And it couldn't just be a dam failure, it had to be a Hollywood-esque dam failure. Oh no, chemical plant threatened. Are you getting the narrative here? And yet another dam break earlier in the month, Kazakhstan, who would have guessed? Didn't hear about this one, flooded farm fields. And now we start to get the really large size hail. Now, no joke, this was predicted during the Grand Solar Minimum that the hailstones would approach 20 pounds in some extreme cases. But during the Maunder Minimum, there were more than a handful of counts of 10 pounds or larger hailstones absolutely pummeling wooden villages into the ground so deeply that when the storm passed, the wood shards were buried so deeply in the mud that they didn't know there were structures there before. And here it comes, right on time again. This is in San Luis Potosi, down in Mexico. One of the larger ones came through and started smashing through the roofs. Now we're going to see more and more of this. This is just the beginning, so hang loose for this as it intensifies through 2024. Even all the way up to the border of Texas. This is a massive storm because there are so many different pictures of this hail. You can't tell me it's all the same person in the same neighborhood picking this up. Oh no. The images speak for themselves. When you see hail this large and you know it's going to get larger. And then we need to add in the perfect timing to grab control of the world's food supply. Enter the bug. Now see, that wouldn't be enough either. Now we've got rumors of conflict. Hong Kong's going to lose its special trade status due to the new national security law passed in the CCP sessions last week. And then magically Baidu says we want to leave the U.S. market. Oh, we want to boost our valuation back in Asia. Real reason is they don't want to get their assets confiscated when a conflict starts. It's going from more grandiose distraction to more grandiose distraction in a Hollywood-esque fashion to get you to stop thinking about how the wealth transfer is going on. Ongoing, right in front of your eyes. You're being fleeced, but you're too busy being distracted to see it. And as the food shortages are inbound, you're going to have to be distracted more and more so you don't see that either. And both of those are going to just sneak up on you middle of the night. And one of the best quotes I've seen that kind of sums up the entire situation here was an economist after looking at the Airbnb defaults and the superhosts leveraging themselves out to get an enormous amount of properties, quipped, "Why buy a house when you can rent one for half the monthly cost? Buy it later after prices crater for 70% less." Actually, it might be 90% less. I go into more topics like this in my Patreon channel at Adapt 2030. Things I can't really talk about on this venue, but deeper discussions. Because we are in uncanny changing times. The distractions are all around us. That's the point. The distractions are there to distract you so you don't really see what's going on. But I try to wrap it up in useful bite-sized nuggets that everybody can digest, along with written and all the graphs included in videos like this on oilseedcrops.org. Each individual video is a post on the website. And you can also sign up for the newsletter if you're looking for more information. I try to get those out about bi-weekly or so, with just some interesting stories that help put a frame around the moving catastrophe that we're moving into. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video.